Asterisk the knock came at 3:12 p.m., sharp, polite, expected. Mark Lawson didn't look up from his laptop until the second knock followed, this time softer, almost hesitant. Asterisk he opened the door to see Claire Mitchell, his neighbor, standing on the porch with a familiar apologetic smile. She clutched a dish towel in one hand and a small toolbox in the other. Asterisk, hey, Mark. I'm sorry to bug you again, she said. That faucet in the kitchen's acting up. It's dripping like crazy. Asterisk Mark smiled instinctively, already standing. Aside. Come on in. Let me grab my wrench. Asterisk Claire had lived next door for nearly 2 years. Her divorce had finalized 6 months ago, and since then, she'd seemed quieter, more reserved, but always polite. Mark had helped her out a few times, dead smoke detector, jam drawer, a broken cabinet hinge. Nothing unusual. Just neighborly. Asterisk Mark followed her across the lawn and into her house. It smelled faintly of lavender and citrus. Her kitchen was neat, though a mug sat half full near the sink. She pointed to the faucet, which leaked a slow but rhythmic drip into the basin. Asterisk, I tried to tighten it myself, she said, setting the toolbox on the counter, but I just ended up scratching the finish. Asterisk, no big deal, Mark replied. Shouldn't take long. Asterisk as he worked, she leaned against the opposite counter, arms crossed loosely, watching him with mild amusement. Emily working today? Asterisk Mark nodded without looking up. Double shift. She won't be back until morning. Asterisk Claire made a small sound, somewhere between a sigh and a chuckle. You must get lonely with her gone so much. Asterisk he hesitated, then twisted the valve one more time. It's part of the job. Nurses have rough schedules. Asterisk she's lucky, you know, Claire said suddenly. To have someone who doesn't complain. Asterisk Mark stood up slowly, wiping his hands on a paper towel. We manage. Asterisk Claire tilted her head. Do you always have to manage? Or do you ever just feel something for yourself? Asterisk he didn't respond. Instead, he inspected the faucet again, perhaps longer than necessary. Claire's tone had changed. Not flirtatious, not overt, but there was an undercurrent, something unresolved, waiting to surface. Asterisk Mark looked up, meeting her gaze for a moment too long. Her eyes didn't waver. Asterisk she ever thank you? Claire asked softly. For everything. You do? Asterisk his jaw tensed, unnoticeably to her but heavy to him. She does. In her way. Asterisk Claire stepped forward, closing the gap slightly. Because I would. I'd make sure you knew. Asterisk Mark stepped back instinctively, creating space without making it obvious. It's fixed now, he said, voice steady. No more leaks. Asterisk she didn't move. I appreciate you helping. I really do. Asterisk he gave a small nod. It's nothing. Asterisk as he turned to leave, her voice followed, quieter now. You know you're the only one who notices me anymore? Asterisk he paused at the door, his hand on the knob. He didn't look back. Asterisk that's not true, he said. Asterisk she smiled faintly, just enough for him to sense it in her voice. Isn't it? Asterisk Mark stepped outside. The air felt dense, like a storm hadn't yet broken. He didn't understand why his heart was beating faster or why her words clung to him longer than they should have. It had been a favor. A simple, neighborly visit. Asterisk but something had shifted. Asterisk back home, he stood in his quiet kitchen, staring blankly at the coffee maker. His phone buzzed with a text from Emily, love you. See you tomorrow morning, red heart. Asterisk he stared at the message. Didn't reply. Asterisk instead, he walked to the window. Across the lawn, Claire stood in her kitchen, back turned, rinsing the same mug. Asterisk a favor, he told himself again. Just a favor. Asterisk but deep down, something else whispered louder. Asterisk he told himself that repeatedly over the next 24 hours, each time he passed the window facing Claire's house, each time her words echoed in his mind. Asterisk you're the only one who notices me anymore. Asterisk but the text came just before dusk. Simple. Harmless on the surface. Asterisk Claire, hey, sorry again about yesterday. TV won't connect to Wi-Fi. If you're not busy. Asterisk Mark read it 3 times. He typed a response, deleted it, then stared out the window. Asterisk her living room lights were on, curtains drawn halfway. A soft yellow glow spilled onto the porch. Asterisk by 7:15, he was knocking on her door again. Asterisk Claire greeted him with that same quiet smile, barefoot, hair in a bun, dressed in a loose-fitting tee that slipped slightly off one shoulder. Asterisk hope I'm not turning into a full-time maintenance case, she joked, stepping aside to let him in. Asterisk you're good, Mark said, forcing a light tone. I've seen worse. She led him to the TV, where a blinking connection icon confirmed her complaint. As he crouched beside the router, Claire moved into the kitchen. The sound of a cork popping broke the silence. I owe you a drink at this point, she said. Mark didn't respond right away. He focused on the wires, the ports, the blinking lights, anything to ground himself. You okay? Claire asked from behind. Yeah, he said. Just thinking. Claire handed him a glass of wine. About what? He took it, reluctantly. About whether this is a good idea. She didn't flinch. What part? Mark looked at her, then really looked, past the soft features and inviting smile. She wasn't trying to seduce him. Not actively. Not with words or movement. But something about her presence pulled at the part of him that had gone unnoticed. For months, Claire sat down on the couch, tucking one leg beneath her. Mark, I'm not trying to make things complicated. I know you're married. I know you love her. He sat beside her, guarded but not distant. Then why text me? Because, she said, staring into her glass, I didn't want to be alone tonight. And because when you're here, I don't feel like I'm fading. Silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken decisions. I didn't come over for this, Mark said quietly. I know. He set the wine down. You're vulnerable. I get that. But this, whatever this is, we need to stop it before it becomes something else. Claire nodded slowly, but her eyes didn't leave his. I'm not asking for forever. I'm asking for a moment. Mark hesitated. His mind raced, Emily's tired smile, the lonely dinners, the distance growing between them. Claire was not his wife. She was not his responsibility, but right now, she felt like gravity. Then came the sentence, gentle, devastating, disarming. You ever wonder what it's like to be seen again? It broke something in him. Not with force, but with quiet finality. Mark didn't answer. He didn't move away when Claire reached out. Her hand found his, fingers warm and trembling. He didn't speak when she leaned in, slowly, cautiously, and kissed him. It wasn't a kiss of passion. It was one of permission, of acknowledgement. When he finally pulled away, his chest tightened with regret, but not resistance. Claire's voice broke the silence. It's okay, she said. You don't have to say anything. Mark stood, walking toward the door, unsure if he was running or simply trying to breathe. Before leaving, he turned back. Claire hadn't moved. Her expression was unreadable, neither satisfied nor apologetic. I shouldn't have come, he said. She offered the faintest smile. But you did. He walked into the night, the door clicking shut behind him. Across the yard, his house looked dim, still, untouched. As if nothing had happened. But everything had changed. Mark had never been a good liar. He tried, over breakfast the next morning, when Emily returned home exhausted from her shift. He asked how her night went, nodded at the right moments, smiled when she smiled. But something was off. The way he stirred his coffee too long. The way he didn't meet her eyes. Emily didn't ask questions, but she watched him, quietly. She always had a gift for sensing what wasn't being said. After she fell asleep on the couch mid-morning, still in her scrubs, Mark stepped outside. The sunlight was warm, but he felt none of it. Claire's curtains were drawn. He paced the backyard, replaying the night before like a scratched record. The touch of her hand, the weight of the silence between them, the way she looked at him after the kiss, like she'd won something. Or maybe lost it. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Claire, you don't have to explain. I won't tell. Mark stared at the message for a full minute before deleting it. No reply. No reaction. Just silence. The day passed in pieces, empty. Conversations with Emily, glances he avoided, thoughts he couldn't quiet. When night came, and the lights in Claire's house stayed dark, he found himself drifting to the window again. She didn't appear. 3 days later, Claire was gone. Mark came home from the grocery store and found a moving truck in her driveway. Boxes stacked. No sign of her. He approached, hesitating at the edge of her lawn, unsure if he wanted answers or closure. A man in jeans and a ball cap loaded the last box into the truck. You looking for Claire? Mark nodded. She left this morning. The man said. Didn't leave a forwarding address. Mark blinked. She just left? Some people do that, the man replied. Don't like to say goodbye. Inside her house, through the cracked door, Mark saw the empty living room. Bare walls. Silence. Later that night, after Emily had gone to bed, he found the envelope. It had been slipped under their front door, unmarked. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No greeting. No signature. Just a sentence. Don't worry. You weren't the first. Just the last I needed. Mark sat at the kitchen table for a long time, staring at the words. His breath caught in his throat, not from heartbreak, but from recognition, asterisk she hadn't fallen for him, asterisk she'd used him, asterisk used the moment. The loneliness. The ache in his marriage. It hadn't been personal. It had been planned. Or maybe not. Planned, but intentional, asterisk a final connection before disappearing for good, asterisk he crumpled the note, then stopped himself. Smoothed it back out. Read it again, asterisk, you weren't the first. Asterisk he wondered who the others were. Neighbors? Friends? Strangers, asterisk, just. The last I needed. Asterisk what had she needed? Closure? Revenge? Power? Or had he been nothing more than a mirror reflecting the pain she couldn't bear alone? The next morning, Emily made pancakes. Mark watched her move around the kitchen, hair messy, voice soft, her back turned like always, asterisk she asked him about work. He lied again, asterisk but this time, the guilt didn't burn, it simmered, asterisk later, as he stood by the sink, staring out the window at the now empty house next door, he whispered to himself, asterisk, it was just another visit to my neighbor, until she said something I can't ever forget. And just like that, it was over, or maybe it wasn't, asterisk, asterisk.